Mathematics lesson. So if you're joining us, let's mark today attendance. This is the 12th. Let's mark today attendance. If you're joining us for this coming examination, welcome to today mathematics lesson. If you're joining us, let's mark today attendance. If you're joining us, let's mark today attendance. If I join house, let's mark today attendance. Oh, so guys, if I join us, let's mark today attendance. Your name and where you are watching us from. Your name and where you are watching us from. That is very important. Your name and where you are watching us from. I'm waiting for your response, guys. I'm waiting for your response. Your name and where you are watching us from. Okay, guys, let's mark today attendance. Let's mark today attendance. Your name and where you are watching us from. Let's mark today attendance. The name and where you are watching us from. So let's be fast with that. We already comes late because the network here was trying to somehow. So that is why this class. That is why it is late. So let's mark today attendance. The name and where you are watching us from. I've been waiting for you guys. Let's be fast with it. Just have 1 hour 30 minutes to spend today live. It was with 1 hour because I have a lot of things to cover up tonight. So please, let's be fast with that. Let's be fast with that. Your name and where you're watching us from, so we can start the class immediately. It is 8:25. We start the class immediately. So immediately, let me just make it very fast. So let's make it immediately. Have to comment so we can start the class. I want to make sure that at least 2 people that follow me and we start the class together. Okay, we are following the class. So let's mark today attendance. Your name and where you're watching us from. That's very important. Your name and where you are watching us from. Your name and where you are watching us from. So guys, I'm waiting for you guys to be active. So let's start today mathematics lesson. As you can see, we'll be diving into another interesting mathematics topic, which is Surds. So let's mark today attendance, the name and where you're watching us from. That is very much important. Okay, so you can see you're active. Okay, let's mark today attendance, your name and where you're watching us from. Please, let's be fast with that. Your name and where you're watching us from. Let's be fast with that. At least 2 comments so we can start the class together. So let's be fast today. Okay, if you're so you are active. Okay, I think we can start now. I have it to respond. So like this video and share with your friend. Give a like to this live and share with your friends. So I'm sorry guys for coming late. I said we start by 8. So due to the 1 or 2 things I was trying to cover up and the network was somehow that reason why it is comes late like this. I'm very sorry for that. I'm very, very sorry for that. And today I have many of you guys that have been requesting from the PDF of our previous lesson. Okay, the lesson note for the PDF lesson. I'm sorry for not sending it to you yet because it wasn't with me. So I was trying to contact the person in charge so he can send it to me, but it is not yet respond. We have a lot of activities that we have been doing this morning, so I can't blame him for that. I'm very sorry for that, but by God's grace, I will make sure that before I will send it to him immediately. I receive it this night, and either tomorrow I'll send it to you. For you guys that requested for it, I will definitely send it to you. All right, so let's move to the business of the day. Business of today, we'll be discussing about Surds. Okay, we shall be diving into Surds. We shall be treating a questions, and we're going to be learning how to solve question in Surds. So the question I want to ask you, this topic is is one of the very easy topic in mathematics, and the way it is very easy, you can easily make mistake. Again, you can easily make mistake. The way it is very easy, you can also make mistake while you are solving question under this topic if you don't understand the way it works. Okay, you can still make a mistake while you solve a question under this topic. I get down. So let's follow all this class to the end. So let's follow this slide to the end. So if you have any question, please, if you have any question, you can ask the question immediately. So let's look at the topic Surds. So with the definition I have here, and the textbook I'm using, I am able to give out the short definition of Surds. Surds deal with what? They are irrational number. Irrational numbers, they are root of rational number. Again, they are a rational number and they are root of rational number. What is a rational number? A rational number, a number that can irrational number, a number that cannot be expressed as a fraction, as a simple fraction. Again, a rational number, a number that cannot be expressed as a simple fraction. Why a rational number? A rational number is a number that can be expressed as a simple fraction. Okay, so irrational number are the number that has continuous decimal. When you divide it to be continuous and the continuous to be repeated, either it to be for example, let me just give an example for what I have here. Okay, for example, root 2. Okay, we're talking about irrational number. We have root 2. There's an example, so let me take my pen out. We have root 2, for example, of a Surds. And these Surds are irrational number. Okay, and they are the square root of irrational number. So are irrational number, and they have a square root of what? Of rational number. Rational number can also be what? The whole number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are also what? Rational number, like whole number. And a number that can be expressed as a simple fraction is also what? Is also a rational number. I get that it's also a rational number. For example of a number that are not what that are irrational, that sometimes are not rational. Okay, Surds are non-rational or called what? Irrational number. Example, root 2. Root 2 is a what? Is an example of irrational number. This 2 here, let's say that the square root of rational number. This 2 here is a rational number because it's the what? It's just what? A whole number. But we have the square root of a rational number is to give us what? Irrational number. I get now. It's an example of irrational number. And if you have root 3 is also what? A rational number. Again, it's also example of irrational number, and also we have root 3, root 7. It's also example of what? Of irrational number, and also we have as other example you can also have is 12. 12 is also example what? Of irrational number. So all these examples now, they are not. If you look at, they are not a perfect square. If you say root 12 does it have a perfect square, it's not a perfect square. We say root 7, does root 7 a perfect square? Root 7 is not a perfect square. If we say root 3, is this a perfect square? It is not a perfect square. Root 2, it is a perfect square? It is not a perfect square. I get now. So they are a set of what? A rational number. I get now. Also 5 is also there. 5 is also what a set of what a rational number, because it does not have a square, does not have a perfect square, and they don't have what they cannot be expressed as a simple what fashion. I get now. Do you understand now? So that are called what surge. That are called what surge. I get that. Now that we list up, because I'm just giving the summary of sort, and when we look at the solution, how to solve question under sort. There's some things to take note when you're solving a sort question. This sort has its own rules and regulation. It has its own rules and regulations. So let's look at the rules and regulations that guide sort. In order to solve such question, it has rules and regulations. So let's look at the rules that we need to take before we solve question on sort. So let's say the words, we have the rules. Okay, root of sort. Rules of sort. We have the first rule. It is called addition. I get down. It's called addition. For example, we have the word, if you have an expression like this in sort, if you have root of a plus root b, it will be equal to root a plus root b. It is equal to 6 in this place. If we say that this one now, root a plus root 3a, it cannot be equal to, okay, let me give it in two ways. This one, if you look at this one, this root here is a, this root here is b. They are not what? They are not the same letter. So let's say, for example, now, if we have other one, we have root a plus, we have root what? Root a. Root a plus root a. So in this form, this one can be expressed according to the rules of sort, additional rules of sort, since they have the same base. So since they have the same number that's common to this root here, and that also common to what? To this root here. So according to the sort, it will be equal to, it will be written as 2 of this. Again, it will be written as so. We have the quotient here, that is 1. This one will give us 2 root a. This expression, and since they have the same base, they have the same number as the root, is equal to what? Root 2. But in this part, in this expression we have here, this one cannot be equal to 2 roots, or cannot be equal to 2 of it, because they are not of the same family. But this one is A, this one is B. So this one cannot be expressed as it cannot be equal to this symbol means it cannot be equal to, we have A plus what? B cannot be equal to this. Again, cannot be expressed as this. Again, cannot be expressed as this. Do you understand? So, but if you have the same experience, if it is a root b plus root b, it can be expressed as 2 root a. Again, now, if it is in 3 times, it will be 3 root a. If this one we have, maybe for example, now if we also add root a to this part, okay, this one becomes 3 root a, because root a plus root a plus root a, that will give us 3 root a. Again, now, that is what addition of sort. That is addition of sort. But if they are not of the same, if the number or the root here, they are not the same, it won't be equal to a plus b. It cannot be expressed as what we have here. It cannot be expressed as this. Now let's move to the second one. The second one, if you have expression like let's say that we have the expression. I want to be using the example they use here. So if we have expression, the first expression, the way I solve this, we have expression of a minus root b. Okay, this one cannot be expressed as root of a minus b. Cannot be expressed as root of a minus b. But if you have expression like, we have okay, let me give an example. If you have expression of root for 2 root a plus 2 root a minus 2, let me use another one. Let me use our roots. Let me just use root a. So if you have 2 root a, sorry, I write b, is supposed to be root a. I want it to be the same base. So this one is 2 root a minus root a. If you look at it now, this root here, under this root here is a is common to both sides here. I get that a is common to both sides there. So this expression just means that this one is 2 root a. That is a in 2 places. So the coefficient of root a here is 2, and the coefficient of root a here is 1. So 1 minus 2 here, that will give us what? Root a. I get that. That will give us root a. So this expression, since they have the same base, you can sum it together, we give us the. But if they don't have the same base, cannot be equal to what the expression we have here. I get that. Now let's move to the third one. That will be the third one. It is called multiplication. That will be the third one. So in the multiplication, if we have the expression, okay, we have a root a multiplied by root b. This one can be expressed as because this one and this one can be multiplied together. This one can be expressed as root of root a times times b. Okay, root a times b or also can also be equal to root can also be equal to root a b. I get that. It can also be equal to root a b because they are multiplied together. And in the second condition, what if you have the same that root a times times root a? So what would be of this? Root a times root a. So root a times root a, it means that we have a root a square. It means that root a square, and this square will cancel the square root here. That will be equal to a. I get now. That will be equal to a. Since we have this square here, because this root a here this root here can cancel the square of a here. So this one will cancel the square root here. That will give us as a. So if we have the different base, different of the root, yes, this one a, this one is b, they have the same. So we can expect at this time this, and I can also expect as a times b. So that is multiplication. I get now. Now let's move to the last one, which is the division. So that's the fourth one, where that is the division. So let's go to the division. Division states that if you have expression that looks like, we have a root of b, okay, divided by root of a. If you have root b divided by root of a, the solution will be expressed in this way. This is the apple is division. Can be said that root b divided by root a, and also can be since root is common to both sides there, can also be expressed as b divided by square root of root of b over a, can be expressed like this. So either you have division, you can express like this, and if you have something like this, can also be expressed like this, and also can also be expressed like this. These are the rules that we have to follow when you are solving a solve. You should obey. If you have this expression, it should not be equal to this. Students do mistake when they are solving a question. Since the base here, this is a square, this is root a, and this is root b, they are not the same. So you cannot express it like it cannot be equal to this. I get that. But if they are the same, like root a plus root a, this will give us 3 root a. I get now. That will give us 3 root a. But in this case, if you have in this division, in the subtraction, if you have to root a minus root b, okay, this one cannot be expressed as everything put at this root of a minus b cannot be expressed as that. I get that. Now this one is able, if you have 2 root a, since root a they are the same, can be expressed like this. So those are the things you need to take note when you are solving a question under this particular sort. You should take note of this. You take note of these rules that govern the question solving in a sort form. These are the things you should take notes. I get that. Those are the things you should take notes. So let's move to the it's very a simple example. Okay, let me share with you a simple example. I think I have like example there. So okay, before I share with you example, let me do like this. Let me quickly give you the summary of the necessary patterns you need to take note when you're solving this sort form. We have discussed about the definition of sort. Okay, we have discussed about the definition of sort. We say sort are irrational number. Okay, irrational number are number that cannot be expressed in a fashion, in a simple fashion form. Okay, in a simplified form. So we give example. We have root 2, root 3, root 7, root 12, root 5. They are what? Irrational number, and they are also irrational number are number that are not what? A perfect square. I get them. Now let's look at let's talk on Latin. We discussed about the rules, so let's look at what a number to be in a sort form, because a number can be a sort. Okay, a number can be a sort, but must be in a sort form. Now that is what will lead us to another topic that you need to take note, because they do ask questions on this sort, and this topic students are finding difficult to get this topic as easy as they. So but I would like you to explain it, and let me break it down for you guys tonight. So let me see, we're discussing about the basic form of sort. How we can say, okay, let me try to increase. So hope you guys can see it now. You can see it very clear. Okay, hope you guys can see it very clear. So let's discuss about the sort to be in a basic form. Let's discuss about sort to be in a basic form. So we have the sort, basic form of sort, or sort basic form, or you can call it what? Basic form of sort. This part is very, very important when you are discussing if you are discussing about sort. If you don't understand this part, you find it difficult to solve question on sort. Okay, you find it difficult to solve question under sort. So this part are very, very, very important. This part are very, very important. So let's look at what they says about a basic for a sort, for a question to be in a basic form of sort. So that if we're given the root k, it's said to be in a basic form of sort if k, this k represents a number, if k does not have a factor that is a perfect square. Again, if this k, when you express it a factor, maybe you find a factor of a number. A factor means that a number that can be divided a certain number without having any remainder, can divide a certain number exactly without having any remainder. That is really a factor of k. So when you express it, you find a factor of that particular number, and later that you discover that it is not a perfect square. I get now. Instead, let me read it again. Root k is said to be in its basic form if k is said to be in a basic form if k does not have a factor that is a perfect square. That is a perfect square. Now, thus, root k will only be termed basic if root k cannot be broken down further into two factors where one of them has an exact square roots. When one of them have exact square roots, I get on have exact square roots. For example, we have 6. If we say the square root of 6, do you have a square root of 6? There's not a square root of 6. So if we say the square root of 6, it would give you what? It will give me what? A square root of 6 is not a perfect square. Okay, this one there's error here. There's an error here. This is to be root 11. Okay, we have root 11 here, and here is root 5. Okay, this one is root 5. There is root 11. Okay, this one is root 5, and this one is root 11. So 6 is not a perfect square. So 6 is not a perfect square, and if you find a factor of 6, the one of the factor of 6 cannot be break down, cannot be a perfect square. So 6 is a basic form. If you say root 6, it will be a basic form of a sort. Okay, we have 5, we have 11. So if you have roots 11, and if you find a factor of 11, can never be break down, and one of these could be what? A perfect square. So root 11 is a sort form, it's a basic form of sort. Root 5 is also what? A basic form of sort. So let me give you one more example. If you have 10, so if you find the factor of 10, so what are the factor of 10? Sorry, the network was just. I hope you guys. Sorry, I think the network was somehow. Sorry for that. What could happen to network tonight now? So reduce the size. Okay, sorry for that. So let's go back. So let's say, for example, let me give you more example, which is what root 10. Okay, root 10. So if you find the factor of 10, what are the things that can multiply together that will give you what 10? So we have 5 times 2. So that means that we have this can be expressed as 2 multiplied by 5. So this expression now, if we speak like this and call the multiplication of what we have here, this can also be expressed as root 2. Okay. Multiplied by root 5. Root 2 times root 5 will give us what? Root 10. I get that. Now means that therefore this root 2 is a perfect square, it is not a perfect square. So that means that root 2 is a basic form of what? Of surd, because it can neither be break down. Okay, it means that our root 10 is a basic form of surd, in which that if we find the factor of root 10, it cannot be, one of the factor cannot be perfect square. I get that. One of the factor cannot be the perfect square because root 2 is not the perfect square. Root 5 is not the perfect square. 5 times 2 will give us 10. So means 10 is an example of what? 10 is an example of a basic form of what? Of surd. Okay, then. So let's look at another example. If our root 4, okay, if you find the factor of 4, 4 can also be expressed as 2 times what? Times 2, which will give us 4. So if we split it, that is what? Root 2 multiplied by root 2. So root 2 is a perfect square, it's not a perfect square. Root 2 is a perfect square, it's not a perfect square. So that means that root 2 is what? It's in basic form of what? Of surd. I get now. Means that they are basic form of surd. Well, yeah, that means that our root 4 what is a basic form what? Of surd, because one of the factor cannot be what? A perfect square. After expressed as a factor, it cannot be what? A perfect square. So root 4 is example, root 10 is example. I get that. So if let me give more example under it. So let's say that another example we have what? Root 12. Okay, root 12. What are the factor of 12? If you say that 4 times, okay, 4 times 3 will give us 12. So it can also be expressed as root 4. Okay, sorry, let me try to bring this one back. Can also be expressed as root 4 multiplied by root 3. I get that. So root 4 is not a perfect square, 3 is not a perfect square. So that means that one of the factor of root 12, they are not what? A perfect square. So root 12 is a perfect, okay? It's a basic form of what? Of surd. I get down. So that is how surd works. You should understand the rules and to know that maybe that particular form, that particular answer you get must be what? A basic form of must be a basic form of a what? Of a surd. I get now, because it is given that if you have any root k, this k representing number is said to be in its basic form if k does not have a factor that is a what? A perfect square. Thus, root k is only be termed as basic if root k cannot be break down into two factors, okay, let me tell you, where one of them has an exact square root. So if I break this one into 2 factors, we have 4 times 2, none of them is a square root. If we look at root 10 here, you have 2 times 5, 2 is not the square root, and this one is not a perfect square. Okay, now, so that's at the root 10, root 4, root 12 is an example of basic form of surd. Hope that is well cleared. So if let me give you more last example under that so it can be well understood. So if we have root 27. So root 27, if you look at it, root 37, it is what? If you want to express this root 27, let's check maybe this root 77 is the basic form of surd. And if it's not a basic form of surd, we can also make root 27 as a basic form of surd. I get on. Now, how do we make? Let's first check it. Maybe root 27 is a basic form of surd. So, what are the factors we can? What are the factors we can multiply together. That will give us 27. That is what 9 times 3. Okay, then 9 times 3 will give us 27. So let's look at now. Let's look at it now. Maybe the factor of this we have root what? Root 9. Okay, multiply by we have what? Root 3. Now if you look at this now, root 9, which is what? Which is 3, because root 9 is a perfect square. Okay, now root 9 is a perfect square. So that means that root 7 is not a basic form of surd. Okay, now how do we make root 7 to be in a basic form of surd? Root 7 does not classify a basic form of surd because one of the factor it can be one of the factor is a perfect square. This root 9 is a perfect square. So one of these factor, we have the root 3 as a factor and root 9 as a factor. One of this factor here, which is root 9, is a perfect square. So this one does not, 27 does not classify as a basic form of surd. Now the question is, how do you make it as a basic form of surd? Now to make it to be in a basic form of surd, now you find the root 9. Root 9, what will be the root 9? Root 9 is what? Is 3. So it will be multiplied by the root 3. I get now. So 3 times root 3, that will give us what? That is root 27 to be equal to, we have 3 what? Root 3. So that means that in order to express root 27 to be in a basic form of surd, the answer is equal to what? 3 root 3. I get now. It will be equal to what? 3 root 3. So now, if we have for 3 root 3, if you have 27, we can expect 27 to be equal to what? 3 root 3 to 3 root 3 to be in a basic form of what? Of surd. I get now. So the same thing. Let me give you one more example under this. For perfect understanding. So let me say the second example, that is example 2. So if I say you find the root 50. Root 50, let's test it. Maybe root 50 is in basic form of surd. Let's find the 2 factor of 50. So if you say the 2 factor of 50, you can say 25 times 2. That is 25 times what? Times 2. Okay. Now 25 times 2. That will be equal to what? 50. Now this one can also be expressed as 25. Okay. Multiplied by root what? 2. Now this root 2 is a perfect. Is a basic form of surd because it's not a perfect square. But root 25 here is a perfect square. So that means that root 50 is not a what? Is not in basic form of surd. Now, how do we make root 50 to be in a basic form of surd? Is to find what? The square of this, square of 25, which is what? That is 5. So 5 multiplied by root 2, that is what? Root 2. So you can say therefore our root to make this what? Root 50 to be in a basic form of surd, it will be equal to what? 5 root 2 to be equal to express this root 50 to be in a basic form of surd, it will be equal to what? 5 root 2. Now 5 root 2 represents what? Root 50, and root 5 root 2 is what? Is our number, is the this root 5 root 50 is not a basic form of surd. So to make this root 50 a basic form of surd, it will be equal to what? 5 root 2. How we get now? Hope that one is well cleared. Do you have any question before I proceed? Do you have any question before I proceed? If it is well understood, so let me know in the comment section. If it is well understood, let me know in the comment section. If it is well understood, let me know in the comment section before let's proceed so we can move to the next thing we have on the list. if you have any question, okay, understood. So let's move to the let me treat one more example according to the rules of solve. So let's make more example. That is what we are going to be looking. We have a lot of example here from the question, from the past question. So let's look at this question from JAMB past question. So we says that we should express. Okay, let me give you an example. So we want to express. So we want to express roots. Okay, let me A. You have 2 root what? Root 5. We want to express this one in a short form, in a single short form. This one in two ways. So, like for example, now, if we're given a question as 5 root 2, and we say that we should express this one in a single short form, means that we want to make this one. How do we get from this part root 5 root 2 to make it what 50? You know, from 50 here, I said root 50 here is not the basic form of surd. I get now. Now we break it down. When we divide it now, when we divide we find the 2 factor of 50, we have 25 times 2, which is one of it is the perfect square. 25 root 25, which is what? Which is 5. And 5 multiplied by this root 2 will give us 5 root 2. Now, what if we are given a question as a solution of this this one is a double surd. Now we want to convert from double surd to what? We want to make it what? We want to make it what? To single surd. Again now how do we convert back to the question? Now that is what we're told to express. I say express. I want to read it now so you can take note of that. Express root 2 root 5 in a single sum or in a single surd. We want to express this one in a single surd. Now how do we do that? How do we do that to express it in a single surd? Now what we just have to do, the first step you have to do here is you will take the square of both sides. I get now. You take the square of this. You can put in a bracket and take the square roots. Hello, can you hear me? Hope you guys are there. Network, hello, can you hear me? The network has an issue, just break down now. Hello, are you there? Hope you guys can hear me. So if you can hear me, let me start with it. So if you want to convert this one back, we have two. We want to express it in a simple form of surd. What you just have to do here is to take the square roots of all the parts. Take the square root of this. That means that we take the square root of this, and after take the square root, you take the square. For example, now to convert this one now into be root of 2. So let me write it very well so you guys can see it very well. Okay, it will be equal to, you take the square root of 2 root what 5 2 root 5, and everything to be what? To be square. And everything to be square. So this one can also be expressed as to be like this, that the word root what can also be expressed as root what or root 2. Everything here is squared. I get down. And also the second multiply here can be also be multiplied as that is root what this root here with 5, that is root 5, can also be expressed as what? As square. I get down. Can also be expressed as square. So in this one can be equal to this part, that is what root 2 raised power of 2. Okay, and here we have what multiplied by. So sorry, I made a mistake here. This one's supposed to be equal to let me try to write it out. This part is not into this, it is root of this. Okay, it will be is to be root of this what 2 square here. I get now to be root of this and square this inside here. This one to be square, and we find the square root of this. So that is what we have here. Sorry for that mistake here. So in this place that be equal to, that is root word of 5. Everything there is power of 2. This one to be cap of its power of 2. And to be equal to, so that to be 2 square, that is equal to 4. That means that we have root 4 here. Okay, that means that we have root 4 here. Multiplied by this 2, we can the square root here, which is what? Which is 5. I get now, which is 5. Now when you multiply it down, that is what with 5 times this, that give us what root of 4 times what times 5. So 4 times 5, that give us root of 20. I get down, that will give us root 20. Oh, you can't hear me. Sorry for that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah, they can hear me. I hope you guys understand it now. Or should I be explain it? Do you understand, or should I be explain it? I want to hear for you guys before I proceed. Are we there, guys? Are we there, guys? I need a response. Should I proceed, or I hope it is well understood. Should I proceed, or we should? Should I be explaining it? I hope you guys understand it. I'm waiting for your response, guys. I'm waiting for your response. Okay, I'm waiting for your response. Are we okay? Understood. Okay, so let me treat more example. So let's give a test to this. Let's solve this. That is let's say that we are given this. Let me say that is 2, and that 2 here. We want to convert to, you want to get 5. Okay, 5 root what 2. Let's make it in a single form of surd. Now what we just have to do here, the first thing we have to do is to find you first of all square of take the square of the both side there. That means of 5 root what with 2, everything to be squared, and then we find what the square root of it. Again, then we find the square root of it. Now if we should express it like this one to be equal to, so we have what everything to be under everything to be root of, we have this what 5 is part of 2 multiplied by, that is what root 2. Okay, so we have root 2 under it. Also is also is power of 2 because they both share this word 2. Now this one can also be equal to, the way I explain this one is different from this, but it's almost the same. I get down. Now we can also say that 5 square, that's equal to 5 times 5, that is what we have the square root. Okay, we have the square roots. So 5 times 5, that will be equal to 25. Okay, plus this root here, we can do square root here, that is what we have to multiply, say plus, that will be equal to what 2. Now root 25 times 2, that will give us as root what root 50. So we get our root 50 back. I get now, we get our root 50. I hope that is it is well cleared. I hope that is well cleared. So let me give you one more example before we move to the next example, that will be using the rules of surd. So let's move more example. That should be according to theory. So let's say that we are given a question. Let's say that we are given a question. We have 12 root 3. Okay, 12 root 3. So let's make it in a single form of surd. The first thing you you put in a bracket, you find the square of what? Of the two terms. So that the square of this, that is about 12 what, are root 3 what squared. You squared it. So after square it, you now find what? The square root of it. You first of all square it and you find the square root of it. So this one to be equal to, we have the square root already. Okay, now this one can be expressed as 12. Okay, 12 square multiplied by this about root 3. Okay, root 3. I don't know why I'm just writing as 5. Okay, this one can also be what? Root 3. Root 3 also, it will be also share what? This square, because they both share. This 12 share this square, root 3 share what? Share this square. So here we have what? Root 12 square. That's 12 times 12. That gives us what? 144. So this one to be, it will be equal to root, let's say the root, we have a 144, okay, multiplied by 144 multiplied by, we have this 2 here, cancel the square root there, multiply by 3. So that will be equal to, we have the square roots, okay, 144 times 3, that will give us 1,323. So that is 1,000, okay, 323. So that is the answer. I get now. Are you guys now? Do you have any question before we move to the next? Do you have any question before you move to the next question? Do you have any question before we move to the next question? If there is no question, let me know in the comment section. Okay, no questions. Okay. In absence of no question, I would like you to ask a question before. Let me be assured that you guys are. Let me be assured that you guys is well understood. So let me give one as simple, very fast classwork. Let me give it as one as very fast classwork where we can do that. So we can do that. So let's say that. Let me just make it as question. So let me make it as question 4. Okay, let me question 4. So what if we're given this question? Okay, okay, I've solved something like this. So let's say 17, okay, root 2. So convert it, do it now. 17 root 2. Convert it to what? Express it the way I expect to convert it to a single form of surd. 17 root 2. What will be your answer? Just give me type the answer in the comment section. Let's be fast with that so we can move to the next questions. Let's be fast with that. Solve this. Since you have understood this, so solve this one. Okay, 7 root 2. What to be? Write this one in a single form of surd. Okay, write it in a single surd. So I'm be waiting for your. I'm waiting for your answer in the comment section. Solve it. We have 17. Okay, we have 17 root 2. So make it in a single form of surd. Yeah, let's do that. Let's be assured that you guys have gotten this. Yeah, I'm waiting for you guys. We're waiting for you guys. Let's make this class. Let's make it interactive. What will be your answer? Yeah, let's be fast with that. I want to be assured that you guys are getting what I explained here. So this will help you. I have the reason why I'm doing that. So let's be fast. So you can drop your answer. Just drop the final answer. You don't need to show the working step. Just drop the final answer, what they get as a final answer. So let's be fast with that. Let me wait for you. So immediately it is let me give you 2 minutes more. Immediately it is 9:07. I should have done before that. So if this question is JAMB exam now, so how do you solve it? So I'm waiting for you guys. Solve it. 17 root 2. What to be it in a single surd? What to be the answer in a single surd? I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for you guys. It's 1 minute more. 1 minute more. 1 minute more. Here guys, let's do fast. Let's be fast. Let's be fast. Okay, you said that 270, 578. Okay, Takpai, are you there? What is your answer? So let me be further because we still have a lot of things to do. Though we just have some 1 or 2 things, and then we call it a day. I have a lot of things, so I think too. I'm very sorry. Okay, 578. So you guys, let's see, maybe you get it. Let me disclose this, right? Let me disclose it now. Let me solve it so we can look at it together. So the first step is to take the square of both sides. So we have to say 17 root 2, okay? Everything was squared, okay? And then you take the square root of both sides also. So this one to be expressed as what? As square root of, that will be 17 was square multiplied by root 2 what? Root 2 also was squared. Now 17 squared, that will give us 289. So therefore we have for this one give us 2 let me draw the square. That is 289 multiplied by root here. We cancel the square here, cancel root here. That's multiplied by what? 2. Now the answer is to be equal to, so 289 multiplied by 2, that will give us 578. So you guys got it correctly. Well done. You guys got it correctly. Well done. You guys got it correctly. So that means that this part, there's no issue in this part. Now let's look at the more example, and the more example will be looking for the past question, and I would like to solve this question with you guys. This is under the subtraction and addition of surd. Subtraction and addition of surd. Now let's look at the example. So let me make the example to be example 5. Okay, let's do be example 5. Now this to be under subtraction and addition of surd. Now the first one I would like to share with you, it is we have 3. So the question is evaluate. Okay, we have evaluate. Let me try, maybe I can write it. We have what evaluate. Okay, we try to evaluate. We have root what? Root 32. Okay, plus we have 3 root, okay, root 8. Root 32 plus 3 root 8. Okay, we have what? Root 32 plus 3 root 8. So how do you attempt to solve this question? How do you attempt to solve this question? So if you look at it now, okay, if you look at it now, I don't think that what if you still remember, I discussed about to be a number to be in a basic form of surd. Okay, so this one now, root 32, is a basic form of surd? It is a basic form of surd. Root 32 is not a basic form of surd. But if expect this root 32, because it's if you find the factor of root 32, one of the factor is to be perfect square. For example, now root 32, if you say that multiply by 2, Okay, if it is multiplied by 2, that will be 16 times 2 will give us what? 32. And 16 is a perfect square. So it means that 32 is not a basic form of surd. I get now. It means that it's not what? A basic sum of surd. So this 32 can be expressed, so that will be a solution to this. Okay, that will be solution to it. So this root 32 is the same thing as root of what? Of 16 multiplied by 2. 16 times 2 will give us what? 32 plus, and we have 3 words. Okay, in this word root 3, root 8, it is a perfect square. It is a perfect square, but root 8 is not a basic form of surd because one of the factor also is the perfect square. If we say 4 times 2, we still also give us as what? As 4 times 2 is still the same as 8, where 4 is the perfect square. So let's say that we have expression as 4, okay, multiplied by 2. Okay, so this one can be expressed as, that is root 16 multiplied by, this one is 16 multiplied by root 2. Okay, plus, and this one is 3. Okay, we have 3 open bracket length because it is want to express into time. That is what? Root 4 multiplied by, that is root 2. So close bracket. Now you should ask one question here. Why did I multiply it by 2? Why did I express this and multiply by 2? So I thought of first look at it. What can I multiply by a certain number that will give us the factor of this, and they will have the same as the square root. If you look at it now, this one have a square root of 2, this one have the square root of 2 because they are the same. Root 2 and root 2 here. In the first time here we have root 2 here, and the second time here we have root 2 here. So you should take note of that. If the stereo you want it to be in a basic form of surd, I get now. You can use 2 to divide it. What I did here, I look at now. This is the number here is a all even number. The number here is what? Is an even number. I can easily say that 2 divided by this will give us 16. Now to make the factor of this, I want to make something that will common to both words. This square root here, I want to make something that will common to this word, to this square root here. So I now look at it. This one is a even number. The number here is also what? Even number. Now I can say that it divided by 2. If I say 2 divided by this and give us 4, 4 is a perfect square. I get now. So that means that it is not what? A basic form of surd. I get now. Now 2 is common to both sides. If you say 2 here, that is 16. And 16 is a perfect square. So that is why I express it like what? As 16 times 2. And that is why I express this one as 4 times 2 here. We see that root 2 here is common to both sides. We have root 2, we have root 2 here. Now, if you say that root 16, that is what? 4. So 4 times 2, that is what? Root 2. That is 4 root 2. Plus. Now, if you look at this now, that is 3 open brackets. Now we have root 4, which is what? 2. 2 times root 2, that is what? 2 what? Root 2. So we close it. Okay, now this one has 3 outside. So the 3 here will be multiplied by this 2 outside here. So this one will not becomes. That is 4 root 2. Okay, plus 3 times 2. 3 times 2, that is what? 6 what? Root what? 2. I get done. Now it is 6 root 2. So the answer is to be, look at what we have here. This one is root 2 and root 2. This one will give us addition. Okay, since the root here and the root here are the same, so just take what? The coefficient, which is 4, and the coefficient of here is what? It's 6. Since the root here is root 2 is common to both sides, so you can take the what? Root 2 outside. So let me just solve it like this. It's very simplest way. So since root 2 here is common to both sides there, let me take root 2 what? Outside and open bracket. I want to factorize it. Now when I say root 2 outside, because it's common to both sides now, so we have what? Here we left what? Root 2 divided by 4 root 2 here. Here we miss what? We miss 4. We miss 4 here. Now, since root 2 divided by root 2 here, this one means what? We have plus. What is plus? That is 6. We close bracket. Now 4 plus 6, that will give us 10. So this one becomes, that is what? 10 times root 2, that is what? 10 was root 2. So the answer to this question, to this evaluation, is equal to what? 10 root 2. However, it is well cleared. It is equal to what? 10 root 2. Do you understand? is equal to what? 10 root 2. So that is the step-by-step solution to this question. If we're told to evaluate a question like this or question similar to this, that is the step-by-step to follow. Let's treat more example. So let's say this is example 6. Now in this example 6, I would like to solve this problem. It's also evaluate. So we are told to evaluate. So we're told to evaluate. That is 7 root 3. Okay, 7 root 3 minus root 75. 7 root 3 minus root 75. So let's look at the solution. If we're given this question, so let's look at how we can solve it. Now, the first thing to take note here, if you look at this question here, the square root here, what number answer the square root? Is this an even number or odd number? This one is odd number. So if you look at this one on 75 is also what? Odd number. Again, so something may come out to both root here and this way. Here the root here is root 3. Again, so can we make this 75 to be possible as root 3? What can multiply by 3 that will give us this 75? Now to get it, you have to divide it because I want to make this what this since they are odd number. So and this one is this root 3 is a basic form of surd, which is root 3. None of the factors of this one can be break down that give us what a perfect square. And this root 3 is a basic form of surd. Now we can also expect this one to have root 3 that can be multiplied by 3 that will give us what? 75. So what are the number that will give us what that will give us 75 when it's being multiplied by what? Root 3. I get now. So the number is, if you use the calculator, if you say that 3 divided by 75, 3 divided by 75 is equal to what? That is 25. I get down. That is 25. 25 times 3, that will give us what? 75. So this one to be expressed as 7 root 3, 7 root 3 minus, okay, this one we expect as root of 25, okay, multiplied by root of 25 multiplied by 3. I get down. This root 25 is a perfect square. Now this one can be expressed as 7 root 3 can be expressed as 7 root 3. This one is 7. Take it out. This one is 7 root 3 minus. I get down. Now this root 5. Okay, let me express this one as root 25. Okay, multiplied by root 3. Now let me create more space. Now in this place we have a 7 root 3. Okay, 7 root 3 minus, so root 25 here, which is given as what? As 5. 5 times 3 here, that will give us what? Root 3. Now if you look at it now, they have something in common, which is what? Root 3. So if you factorize it now, that will root 3 to be outside, and open bracket, root 3 divided by 7 root 3, that gives us as 7 minus, okay, now root 3 divided by 5 root 3, that gives us as 5. So we close bracket. Okay, 5 minus 7 minus 5, that is 2. Okay, now 2 times root 3, that will give us what? That is 2 what? Root 3. So that is the answer to this. If you are given an expression like this, 7 root 3 minus root 75 is equal to what? 2 root 3. I get now, it's equal to 2 root 3. How it is well clear, is equal to 2 root 3. So let me give you one more example. Okay, let me give you one more example before I call it a day, and I will give you us that's example 7, and I will give us assignments. Now let's look at the example. This one needs to be in 3 terms. So the question also is to evaluate. Okay, we have to evaluate. So let me try to create a null space. Enter to create a null space. So the question said that we should evaluate Okay, we have evaluate, that is we have a 3, okay, 3 root 48, 3 root 48, okay, 3 root 48 minus root 75, okay, plus root 75 plus, that is 2 root what 12, 2 root 12. Now we're told to evaluate this question. This is the look at it done, it is 3 times. Now how to attain to solve this question? How do we attempt to solve this question? We have 48 root 48. Here we have what root 75, and here we have what root 12. Now, if you look at it now, 48 is an even number, 75 is an odd number, and root 12 is the even number. Now, what can we do to make this when you find the factor of this? Okay, when you find the factor of this, and when you find the factor of this, and also when you find the factor of this, what can we do to have at least have the same, they have the same number, the same factor, the two factors that have it in common, the same number they have it in common. So if you look at it down, I think 3 is common to both sides. If you say 2, okay, 2 cannot divide by what 75, 2 can go in what in 2 can go in 12. I get now. Now let's look at 3. 3 can go in 12. Okay. 3 can also go in 75. Okay. 3 can also divide by what? 48. I get now. 3 in 48, that gives us 16. 16 is a perfect square. So let's just to be equal to. Now this one will express as 3. Sorry, why this one? So this one can also express as 3. We have the square root of 48 is the same thing. When it's divided, we divide by 3. We see that 3 is common to both sides. I divided by 3, so that will be equal to, okay, 48 divided by 3, that is we have 16. That will be 16. So 16 multiplied by what? By 3. I get now. Now we have minus the same thing applicable to what? Root 75. Okay, the same thing applicable to what? Root 75. If you say 3 is so common to both sides, 3 divided by root 75, that is what? 25. Okay, that 25 times 3 will give us root 75. So that's where we have 25, okay, times what? Times 3. Plus, let's mean we have 2 root 3 also common to 12. 3 divided by 12, that is 4. So that is 4 times 2, 4 times 3 will give us 12. So it means that we have a 4 times what? Times 3. Now, if you look at it now, 3 is common to both sides now. So this one can also be expressed according to my question of Surds. This one can also be expressed as 3. Okay, 3. Let me say the term put 3 because 3 is common to both sides. Let me put it in brackets. In bracket, that is 3 root 16. Okay, multiplied by, that is root 3 minus the second one, that is what? Root 25. Okay, multiplied by root 3. Okay. We have plus the last one that is 2 because 2 is outside and this one are there. These two share this one, this square root here. So let me put in bracket. That's okay. Let me close this one as a close bracket, and let me put this one in bracket. That is what root of 4. Okay, multiplied by root of 3 rather. So let's close the bracket. Now let's solve it. Now from this part now. You find the square root of 16. Root 16, what we get? That will give us 4. I get down, that will give us 4. So this one means that we have 3. Okay, 4 times root 3 here, open bracket, that is what? 4 root 3. Root 16 is 4. 4 times root 3 here, that is 4 root 3. Minus, this one we have what? Root 25, that is 5. 5 times root 3, that gives us what? Root 25 is 5. 5 times root 3, that gives us what? 5 what? Root 3. Plus, here we have 2. We have open brackets. Root 4, which is what? 2. 2 times root 3, that is what? 2 what? Root 3. Close bracket. Now, let's open the bracket now. Before we solve that, let's open the bracket. This one means that 3 multiplied by 4 here. 3 times 4, that is what? 12. 12 what? It will be 12 what? Root 3. This one is 2. I get now. Now let's go to this part. I hope you guys, let me write this one clear. I don't know why the pen is just doing. Okay, so I said that we are sorry. So in this place, that is 3 times 4, 3 times 4 here, that will give us as 12. Okay, 12 times, that will be 12 multiplied by the what, root 3 here, that is 12 what, root 3. Okay, minus here we have 5 what, root 3 plus. So in this part, okay, 2 times 2 here, 2 multiplied by 2 root 3, that is 2 times 2, that is 4. This one because of 4 what, root 3. So if you look at it now, root 3 is common to both sides. We have root 3 here, we have root 3 here, we have root 3 here, so we can factorize it. So if you factorize, if you find the factor of it now, that means that root 3 to be outside and open brackets. Now, root 3 divided by 12 root 3, that means what, 12 minus, I get now, that will be minus, and there we go, root 3 divided by 5 root 3, that will be what, that is 5, okay, plus, now we have root 3 divided by 4 root 3, that is equal to 4. So let's go to the bracket. And now we solve this bracket. So 12 minus 5 plus 4. 12 minus 5 plus 4, that will give us 11. So therefore, this one will give us what? 11, okay, root 3. So the answer is equal to 11 root 3. Okay, now the answer to this question is equal to what? 11 root 3. So do you have any question? I hope it is well understand. Do you have any question? If you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section, please. If you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Let me give you if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I hope it is well understood. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Okay, it is understood. So let me give you let's just solve this simple question. Let me give you class. Let me just give this class work before we call it a day. Let me give you class work before we call it a day. So let's just solve this question. Let me say it is question 8. So before we call it a day, in a very quick one, let's solve that. Okay, we have the question 8. In a very quick one, we should evaluate. Okay, let's evaluate. We have evaluate. Exponential of surd. We are still going there. And this is gradually, this we're just starting because maybe I just joining us. I'm just new learning for the first time. We are still going there. We just started the surd now. We are still going there. So if you are just joining us, okay, let me make it like this. So I'll drop the link to our group, so you can join on our group. So if you haven't joined our group, I've done the link to our group, so you can join us in our group. Okay, you can join us in our group. So we are still going there. Okay, let me give you just a simple question. I mean, just look at the question. If you can see the question that is similar to this from past question. I've almost solved the question I have here. So let me see, maybe we can see another question for the past question. So let me just test a brain. Okay, let's evaluate. Okay, let's evaluate. Okay, let me give you the question under this. Evaluate. If you have roots what are 48, okay, multiplied by root 48 multiplied by root what 28. Now solve that. Okay, solve this. We have to evaluate. We have a root 48 multiplied by, okay, root, okay, root 28. Now how do you attempt to solve that? They are multiplied. So let me know your answer in the comment section. Let me know your answer in the comment section. This is multiplication. This is not addition, but it's almost the same step of this. Or if you can understand what I've explained earlier, you can enable to solve this. So let's give that one a try. Let's give that a try. Let me see your idea. So give it a try and drop your answer. We should evaluate root 48 multiplied by root 28. Root 48 multiplied by root 28. So let me see your idea. Drop your answer. Let me give you 5 minutes. So immediately it is 9. Okay, let me give you 8 minutes. Immediately it is 9:40. Okay, let me give you 5 minutes rather. Let me give you 5 minutes for that, because I would like to solve the solution by 9:40. We'll be ending the class. So let's be fast with it. Self-evaluate root 48 multiplied by root 28. So if you haven't joined our group, I will drop the link now for you guys to join us, to join our support group. In case we have any information, we will be dropping it to our group. So let me share the link for you guys. If I just joined us for today, so I'm expecting you guys. I'm expecting you guys. So I've dropped the link to our support group. If you haven't joined our support group, I'll drop the link to support group. So if you have any question, you can join us. So let's solve it. Let's give you the solution of it. Okay, if you're just joining us, can let us know in the comment section your name and where you're watching us from. So let's look at it. Let's give it as the classwork. Since you guys have understand this, what I explained here, the same thing is almost the same step as this. Root 48 multiplied by root 28. Now, what to be answer if the question is being asked to find this question in this coming exam, to find root 48 multiplied by root 28. Now, how do you attempt to solve it? How do you attempt to solve it? I'm waiting for your solution. How do you attempt to solve it? I'm waiting for your solution. So if you are just joining us, thank you for joining us. Give a like to this video and share with your friends. Follow us for more updates of class like this, and I'll drop the link to join our support group. And also very, very important, go to the comment section and take attendance, your name and where you're watching us from. So let's be fast with the classwork. Evaluate root 48 multiplied by root 28. It is almost the same step of what we do in the addition and subtraction. This is just what multiplication, but it is almost the same step. If we can understand this, then we are free to solve this question. Now, I'm expecting you guys. So give the solution to it. I'm waiting for your response. So I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for your response, guys. I'm waiting for your response, guys. Let's be fast with that. It remains 1 minute. Let's keep dropping our solution. Oh guys, I'm waiting for your response. I'm waiting for your response. I'm waiting for your response, guys. I'm waiting for your response. Just drop the final answer. The final answer you got. Just drop the final answer you got. Just drop the final answer you got. Okay, this is 8:38. So let me solve it with you guys. Let me solve it with you guys because I just have like 5 minutes more before I move to the next or other things I want to do. So let's give solution of it. You can still drop your answer. Okay, we say that 2 square roots of 28. 2 square roots of 28. Okay, let's solve it. Maybe you get it. Okay, let's solve it together. Now, what you just have to do here, if you look at this one, listen to multiplication. This one I multiply, this one and this one, they are multiplied together. But it's split. What you just have to do here, look at this question very well. This one, it is a basic form of surd. It's not a basic form of surd. And this one, 28. How do you know that this is a basic form of surd and this one is an even number, it's also a basic number? So what can we do? If you look at it and if you find the factor of this surd is a perfect square, which is not a basic form of surd. And if you look at this, the factor of this is one of the factor is a basic form of surd. Now, what can we do to make this one of the factor the basic form of surd? Sorry, 2 root 168. Okay, let's go about it. Now, if you want to find a factor of this, one of it is to be what? A perfect square. Okay, what? Sorry, it's the next word I went off. I'm very sorry for that. This one does not load. Sorry for that. It's the next word I went off. Sorry for that, it's the network that went off. Sorry for that. I hope you guys are there now. I hope you guys are there. Sorry for that, the network that went off. I hope you guys are there. Okay, so you see that 16 with 21. Okay, let's look at it. So let's look at this. Maybe this is not a basic form of sort, and also we have to look at this. Maybe it's not a big form of sort. So if you look at this now, the factor of this, okay, what are the factors of this? If you find the factor of this, you can see the one of the factor of this is a what? Is a perfect square. Okay, now if you have something like this, to make it just fast, that be what? If you have a 9 times 5 will give us what? This one, sorry, I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be 45. You're supposed to be 45. Sorry for that. You can do the correction to be 45. This should also be 45. So let's just use this one to be expressed now. Let's just use it to be expressed now. So what are the number? If you want to find the value of this one, if you look at it, so let me just take a rule there. Let me say that we have 48. Let's say the factor of 48. So what you can divide by 48? 2 can divide by 8. So if you 2 divided by 48, you want to try to find maybe it is a basic form of sort. So let's divide it by 2. That is 48 divided by 2. That is 24. We have 24. Now let's go again. 2 can also go again. That is 2 divided by 24. That is 12. Okay. And also 2 divided by 12. That is 6. Okay. And also 2 divided by 6. That gives us also a 3. Again now we have 3 divided by 3. We have 1. Now these are the prime factors of it. Now if you look at it now, if you say 2 times 2 here, if you say 2 times 2 here, that is 4. Okay, 4 times 2, that is equal to what? 2 times 2 here, that is 2. 2 times 2 here, that 2 times 2, that is 4. Times 2, that is 8. Times 2, that is what? 16. So now, if you say 16 times 3, will give us 48. So it means that this one, 2 times 2, 4 times 2, that is 8 times 2, that is 16. So that means that we have 16 multiplied by what? 16 multiplied by 3. Again, now that will be 16 multiplied by 3. So we give us 48. So that means that this 48 can also be expressed as 16 multiplied by what? By 3. Again, now can be expressed as 16 multiplied by 3, which this one of the factor here is a square root. 16 is a square root. Again, now 16 is a square root. Again, now multiply by 3. Now here we also what? Multiply by. Let's look at this one. Maybe one of the factor is the what? Is the perfect square. So let me solve that one. Let me solve it here. So we have 21, 28. So let's go in the division. Let me start from 2. We have 28 divided by 2. That will give us what? Let's divide by 2. That gives us 14. Again, it gives us 14. Now, let's go again. Now, let's divide it by 2. I think 2 can go also 14. So, divided by 2. 14 divided by 2. That gives us what? 7. That gives us 7. Now, in this place now, that's where 2 cannot divide by 3 cannot divide by 8. So that is 7 can divide by 7. That is 7 divided by 7. That is 1. So that means that this times this is a square. 2 times 2, that is 4. So that means we have 4 times what? Times what? 7. That gives us what? 27. So this one can be expressed as what? As a root of 4 multiplied by 7. Again now, root of 4 multiplied by 7. Now if expand it, that is what? Root 16 multiplied by, okay, root 12, 3 multiplied by, also this multiplication here, this also can be expressed as what? Root 4 multiplied by root 12, 7. I get now. So in this place now, this one root 16 is a perfect square. Root 16 is given as 4. So it's 4 multiplied by what? Root 3. Again, 4 times root 3, that is what? 4 what? Root 3. Multiplied by, this one is still multiplied root 2. That is what? Root 2 will give us what? Root 4. That gives us 2. So we have what? 2 what? Times 7. That is what? 2 root what? 7. Now, according to the law of multiplication, if you look at this page, and this one can also multiply together. These two multiply by 4 because they are still of the same. They still multiply together. The outside you multiply the outside. Why the outside the square root you multiply the one that outside the square root here, and why the inside the square root here multiply by what inside as square root here. So that means that we have a 4 times 2 that give us as what as 8. Sorry for it's not written. Sorry, this one is deleted. So we have 7. Okay, 4 times 2 that gives us as what as 8. Okay, now we have what root 3. This one to be what root 3 to be root 3 times root 7. Okay, let me just express like this because let's root 3 multiplied by multiplied by 7. So that is 3 times 7. That will give us as a 21. Okay, now we give us 21. So that's to be equal to root that is 8 root 21. So the answer is equal to what root 8 8 root 21. That is the answer. 8 root 21. That is the answer. Okay, 8 root 21. That is the answer. So okay, who got it correctly? Let me share those that got it correctly. So okay, Dick, I said that what 8 root 21. Okay, you got it. Okay, you got it. So you said that sorry 2 root. No, you got it. I hope it is well understood now. I hope it is well understood. Do you have any question? Do you have any question before I end today? So your assignments, I'll drop it to the group. So if you have to join the group, I'll drop the link to join the group in the comment section. So do you have any question? Do you have any question before? Do you have any question before I end the live? Do you have any question? Do you have any question before I end the live? So if you don't have any question, I will drop the assignments to the group. I'll drop the assignment to the group. So you can copy the assignment for the group and submit it before 7 p.m. tomorrow. Submit it before 7 p.m. tomorrow. So guys, thank you guys. Do you have any question before I end the live? Immediately it is 9:50. I will end the live. So we meet again tomorrow by 8 by God's grace. We meet again tomorrow by 8. Do you have any question? Okay, I think we are spending like 1 hour. We are spent like 1 hour 40 minutes now. 1 hour 40 minutes now. That is what we have spent. So thank you guys for today mathematics class. So if you are just joining us, I think that some people are just joining us. So if you are just joining us, we have done with today mathematics lesson. So we see again tomorrow by 8 p.m. We start by 8 p.m. and I'll drop the link to join our group. That is our support group. You can also join us there for any updates. Okay, you can also join us there for any updates. So for the assignment, I will drop the link. I will drop the question for you guys to tweet for the assignments to the group. Thank you guys. That will be tomorrow for another interesting mathematics class like this. God bless you. Bye for now.